Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And you're never supposed to start with an apology, but I have to start with an apology because the sun's trying to come out in Florida and it's not out yet, and that really upsets me. So we apologize for the tardiness. Big deal, it was a minute. Anyway, looks like the stream is live, and I'm hearing the feedback, which I don't like, so I'm going to mute that very quickly. Stop. There we go. All these technical issues. That's why I like live, because you can have fun. You're not going to believe who I've got for a guest today. I've known this woman, believe it or not. Oh, I said it was a woman. I didn't tell you what the gender was. Anyway, I've known this woman for about 10 years. We attend a number of conventions together. And when you finally meet her, we're going to throw a few questions at her. And by the way, if you have any questions, please put a queue in front of them so they come to the top of the queue. And those of you that don't like to watch live, it'll be a permanent video very shortly when we're finished. So moving right along, let's go to the agenda. Today's sponsor, tell you about that in a minute. And then we have our guest introduction. And this, I guarantee you, is going to be a riot because you people think I'm crazy. This woman has got a personality that rivals no one. So there we are there. Well, enough of me. We don't need to be listening to me. We're here for one reason and one reason only. We're here to meet this young lady. Ladies and gentlemen, Allison Smith.
Hello. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Oh, for an old guy, I'm doing fantastic, and I'm trying to stand today, even though my back is killing me.
Oh,
But I
no,
need to do
baby.
that because left shoulder's good now, or better now. Not good, not perfect.
Good.
I can't wait to go through airport security to see if I set off all the alarms. They say I won't, but they told me that the American Express Black Card, made out of titanium, would go through security. Well, I went through security at Fort Lauderdale holding it up, and the guy said, "No, it's not going to go through. Put it in the box." So I told you we were going to have
Amazing.
fun, but I do have a story. I haven't told you this story. I have a friend of mine, and that person will remain nameless, I'm going to have to tell you it's a her, taking her driver's test about 20 years ago. And one of the questions was a blind man's walking along with a cane. Is it something to do with a cane and an orange vest? She checked orange vest, failed, went home, and her father says, "How'd you do?" She says, "I failed." "What question was it?" "It was the one about the orange vest." He looks at her and says, "How in the hell can a blind man tell if he's wearing an orange vest?"
Awesome.
I
Oh
don't
my
make this stuff up.
gosh.
I have others, but they're kind of sketchy. So let's leave it at that. Anyway, I
Love
told you we
it.
are going to have fun.
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh.
we're going to have a little fun here, and let me pull up. I think I have a couple questions here that I want to ask you,
Mhm.
and move that over here out of the way, and go to my flagged ones. Forgive me for looking away, but that's the way it is. And let me see, more from Allison. There it is. And I've got some. Well, I had some questions that I had, and where the heck are they? But that's beside the point. I got them here, I promise. I know I have them because you sent them to me.
Yes. Well, I'm sure this is scintillating viewing.
I learned one thing a number of years ago, and I care, but I don't give a fill in the blank.
There you go.
And I believe
Absolutely.
that was Danny Glover said that in it was the Matt Damon where he was the sniper or the shooter, called the shooter,
Mm,
and that's all he kept saying is, "I don't give a." So
there you
there we
go.
are. Anyway, we're not going to get the questions the way I wanted them, but we'll see what happens. Oh, wait a minute. Got him. I knew if I waited long enough, I'd get them. All right, here's a question that's coming in from me. And I want to paste it. And then I'm going to maybe. Anyway, I'll just read it.
Sure.
Come back here. What's the big mistake people make when companies design their interactive voice response, here and after called IVR, call center prompts? What's the biggest
Well,
mistake that I made on my? You've heard my system, and I have
your
no
system
idea who
is
that
fine,
woman is
Michael.
on the standard prompts, but I had all my own done years ago before I knew you. Forgive me. And
Yeah.
anyway, what's the biggest mistake people make?
And this probably drives you crazy too, Michael, because you implement phone systems for people. It's way too many options. So the human attention span is way shorter than you think. So too many options confuse the caller and takes up too much of their time. So my big thing is to tell people to make sure that you have maybe the top 5 reasons why anyone would call your company and put those in your IVR and no more than 5. How does 5 feel to you? Or is that even too many? I don't
I
know.
have too many, and I have three.
Mm. I did one not that long ago and it was 19 options, which is crazy. The human brain cannot remember
That reminds me
anything.
of the
Yeah.
wine list at a restaurant, and they start going through it, and about 8 or 9 in, I go, "What was that first one you said again?"
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, the top 5 reasons that anyone would call your company and then put them in the order of importance.
Mm-hmm.
So if you offer any kind of emergency support, if it's like a healthcare type thing, make sure that the
Too
emergency
late then.
prompts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I
Could
mean,
you
I
imagine
did one
calling
for
911?
I did a IVR for a clinic in Florida where you live, and it was a cardiology clinic, and they had about 12 options. And the very last option was, if this is a medical emergency, hang up and call 911. And it's like, no, 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 not at the very end. Put it at the beginning.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I just figured it out how to do that. Here comes the next question, because I
Mhm.
wanted to really be kind of cool with it. And I guess we're not going to see that one, but that's okay.
Hmm, hmm.
Uh, Next question was, what are 3 essential things companies need for their IVR?
Okay. Well, the huge thing is for companies to decide what their identity is. So, a lot of thought goes into establishing what a company's website is going to look like and their whole personality on social media. But for some reason, the phone system gets left out of that brand messaging. So that the big thing is to determine what your brand messaging is and to make sure that the phone prompts dovetail with that messaging. The next thing I think would be to be really clear about who your customer is and who's calling in without profiling. It's probably really easy to figure out exactly who a typical caller would be. So make sure that your IVR is written for that audience in mind and who is most apt to call. Like,
Hmm.
I actually don't like talking on the phone, Michael, so I'm not sure about you, but if I actually have to carve out time to call a company, it's usually because I have a specific problem or the answer to my problem wasn't available on their website. So
Let
if
me
people
take
just,
that a little further, because you hate
yeah,
talking on the
yeah,
phone. Now I know why.
yeah.
Because you call in and it's not you. Number
Or it
one,
is me,
it's
and I
not
find
you.
that very
But then
frustrating
when
too.
you go through 19 prompts and you're saying, I hit zero, it says that's not a valid choice.
Right. Exactly.
So I can
Yeah,
understand your frustration, but
exactly, exactly.
now it's time for me to show off. There's your next question.
Oh, gosh. Okay, I have the other screen up, so I can't actually
Are
see
there
it. You mean
things
I
that
have
companies include in their IVR choices that don't need to be there? Yeah,
Oh,
number 3 to 19.
Yes, there's that.
I'll
But
answer that one
also,
for you.
yeah. But Michael, you know how people write things like, please listen to our entire menu before making your selection. No, we don't need to put that into IVRs. Don't write something like, please listen to the entire thing as our menu has recently changed. No, callers do not care about that. So these are things that people hear in phone systems and they just sort of think, oh, we need to write that in our system too. You don't need to point out that your IVR has recently changed because guess what? It probably hasn't.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is going to be the last question, and then we're
Okay.
going to go to the proverbial slideshow. And
Okay.
I think I'm guilty of that too. Maybe I should call my office and let you listen to it. It says, "Welcome to Market US. All calls may be recorded." Now,
Actually, no, that's a really key thing that you should have in your system. And I think for privacy concerns, you should put that in, although everyone presumes that their call is recorded no
well,
matter
I
what.
actually have to ask people when I call some customer service place. I say, they said we may be recorded. I said, "Are we recording?" And they said, "Yeah, maybe." I said, "Push the record button. I want a copy of this recording
They actually
because
say maybe? That's crazy.
well, no, they don't know because
Yeah.
it's when I do it, I know it's recorded because I set the phone system up. Everything is recorded because I'm B2B, and
Yes.
you don't have to have the beeps. I can turn the beeps on and all that. But it's distracting. You and I are trying to talk, and it's beep, beep, beep. It's quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's the last question. Why is it important that large enterprise multi-location IVR systems be voiced in the same voice? I could answer it, but I'm gonna let you do it.
Okay. So, if you're implementing a phone system or if your phone system is for maybe one outlet or two, it's not a big deal. But if you have a chain of companies or a chain of outlets for a company, it's really important that the sound is consistent and smooth and all voiced by the same voice with the same energy level. There's a gigantic cable conglomerate here in Canada, and I was calling because we were having issues with our DCT box with our cable. And I think I counted 15 different people on their IVR. So obviously, when they need to make changes, they just grab somebody local in the office and get them to record their IVR. So really, really important, especially if you have multi locations. Again, for that brand cohesiveness, to have it all done in the same style and with the same voice.
And at least with no echo.
Yes. Oh,
Some are
yes.
echo, some aren't. For example, I have actually on my wall in front of me, and I didn't set up the other camera because I will do a here's a shot of the studio. Around
Hmm.
my microphone, I have one of those little portable sound panels, and
Yeah.
I'm talking right into it. But in front of me, and I will pause for laughter, is a moving blanket hanging on the wall
Yes.
because I just happen
Perfect.
to find it in the garage and it works.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It does
Yeah.
exactly what I want it to do.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be an elaborate setup, but just make sure that you're not recording your phone prompts directly over the phone. And like, why not get a pro to do it? I'll get into that more in the slideshow, but
Yep. I
getting a
had a
pro
friend
to
of
do the
mine did
prompts
my
is, yeah.
originals for me, and
Hmm.
she did it on her Mac,
Hmm.
and I never saw it, but she told me how she did it. She took a three-sided cardboard box as her sound booth
Sure.
and just
Oh,
leaned
yeah.
forward, and they came out okay. But this, in the meantime, I need to go out and find somebody that can professionally do them.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. Gee, I wonder who.
Well, let's get on to some of the fun. So get your slide presentation prepared. I'll give
Okay.
you a couple seconds to set it up. And
Yep.
during the presentation, my mic will be muted,
Okay.
but I can hear you.
But, Mike, if you have any questions or observations, feel free to barge in. You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't see any other
Okay.
questions in here, but that was fun. I finally got a chance to utilize the add to broadcast on the comments, but we'll see
It's
what
kind of
happens.
fun.
Just remember, folks, put a Q in front of it. Those of you that are here, thank you very much. Those of you that aren't, shame on you. You're going to wait for the replay, which will be done about 2 o'clock. And I don't even
Excellent.
bother editing them anymore because how can I take out all that good stuff? I mean, it's just it's just unbelievable. So, ladies and gentlemen, give her a second to fire up her. Oh, she already has it fired up.
Yep,
Son of a
it's already
gun.
fired up. We're good to go. Thank you.
Here we go to the slides.
Excellent. Okay, well, welcome everyone. As Michael pointed out, I am a professional telephone voice, and I voice all sorts of things like on hold systems, IVR prompts, which is interactive voice response, call center prompts, AI, text to speech, anything that requires a voice application. So oh my gosh, this does not seem to be advancing. How strange. Okay, we'll try this again. Okay. Yeah, Michael, it's
Click
very
on the
strange.
presentation and use your arrow keys.
Yep, I was. Let's just give this another go. Okay, is it sharing now? Hmm. Okay. Sorry, people, bear with us. We are going to share that screen again. Yeah,
I
there's
didn't
just a
do it.
little bit of it. Yep. No, it's all good. Okay, so from the beginning, now you should see my opening slide. Yep,
There you are.
there we are. But it is not advancing to the other slides for some reason. Very, very frustrating. Okay. Can we do it this way? Can you see the second slide with Canada on
I
there?
can play with that a little bit. Hang on. Let me,
Okay, sorry, people. We had this all going in the rehearsal.
well, that's why it's the rehearsal, because it's supposed to work.
Yeah,
Let me get over here to that. Now you're back in the
very,
presentation. Is that where
very,
you're going to
very
be?
odd.
Your arrow keys aren't working?
Yeah, they're not working, and neither is the mouse advancing the slides. So um, I could run it in this mode if you can see the various slides
Let me,
going.
let me get
Okay.
to the, where is your,
Oh, this is fun. This live thing, it's the best.
it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
And let me see what we've got here for, I don't want that. I want, where the hell's Allison? There she is.
Let me know if you need me to stop sharing.
Oh, sharing is fine.
Okay.
I got you back in the center of the screen, by the way. That's the
Okay.
good news. And
Great.
let
Again,
me
all
make
of
sure
this
I've got
is
you assigned correctly.
fascinating viewing.
Yep. And then on that, I can go down here to Allison Smith's screen, and I'm going to
Okay.
cheat.
Okay. We do what we have to do.
How's that? I cheated.
Okay. Can't
Your full
really
screen in
see.
your non-presentation mode,
Oh, okay. How strange. Okay.
and then you just killed it.
Oh, did I?
Yep.
Oh, no. Do I just click from the beginning again?
Yeah,
Okay.
just click it back in. It'll be fine.
Great. Okay. But now, still, slides not moving.
I
Can you move the
see.
slides from your
Actually,
side?
the live, which is going out to YouTube, is perfect because I have to reassign you to. No, you're
Hmm.
not sharing.
Oh,
You're, for some
here we go.
reason, now you're gone again. So
Nope. It's okay.
come
Okay.
on back.
Sharing again. There we go.
There you are.
Great.
And there's
Okay.
about a 5 second lag on the YouTube feed. So let me make sure I
Oh,
got you on the right one. Yes, you are. And that's fine.
okay.
Good. Now you're good to
Okay.
go.
So now if I do this, can you see the next slide, which is
Yep. It's
the
absolutely
map of
perfect.
Canada? Okay, great. I'll just do it that way and not in full screen. Sorry, people.
No, that's
Okay.
I already zoomed the slide the extra slides out of the picture for you, so you're fine.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Okay. So I am based in lovely Calgary, Alberta, right there where the arrow is pointing. And this is how I look for most of the year. Hopefully spring is coming and we'll have to, get rid of the parkas and everything. So, yes, I am the voice of numerous telephone systems. Let's see if this demo actually works.
I'm sure they can hear it, but I can't hear it.
Yeah, hopefully that played over the YouTube. So yeah, that's just sort of a small smattering of what I sound like when I'm working. So a lot of people know me as the voice of the asterisk open source PBX, which is how Michael and I usually meet up at conferences with open source stuff, Sangoma, Free Switch, Free PBX. On the not so open source side, I have voiced numerous platforms for Mitel, Cisco, even Hawaiian Telcom. Did not involve recording on site. I wish it had. And this is just sort of a small smattering of clients that I work for on a regular basis. So PetSmart is a huge client of mine, 3M, Samsung, Kennedy Space Center, all really fantastic clients. So, of course, with my voice being so prevalent, it's led to some extremely strange happenings. So, I was staying at a hotel in Dallas, attending a conference, and I ordered an automated wake up call, and it was me waking me up, which was an extremely
And
surreal
you rolled over and went
experience.
back to sleep. I got it. My question is,
Exactly.
did you do the voice that says, Houston, we have a problem?
I didn't, and I wish I had, Michael. That would have been fantastic. The other story, which I think I already told you, Mike, is my husband downloaded a workout coach for his smartphone just to sort of keep him honest at the gym. And the first time he used it, he came back and he said, "Guess who's the voice of the coach?" And yes, it was me saying, "Come on, 5 more sit-ups, you can do it," which is crazy.
And you weren't
So
even
I
in the room.
exactly. So I think he changed it to the Australian male. Yeah. So also, a couple of summers ago, Citibank had a failure of their phone system, and so the only prompt that people heard when they called Citibank for that entire day was a joke prompt that I did for the Asterisk system called "Weasels have eaten our phone system." So imagine calling to check on, some situation with your bank account, and that's what you hear. So that was kind of funny. It made the news and the whole bit. So with a telephone system, three things typically happen upon the install. Usually, the office admin or the receptionist gets drafted into voicing the opening greetings, or the client themselves will just grab as I say, a handset and go into an empty boardroom and just voice things over the phone. Or I talk to a lot of telephony installers and resellers who they themselves have to voice telephone systems. Michael, I'm sure that your voice is on numerous systems for your clients. It was probably supposed to be a temporary thing and it's still there.
Actually, no.
No?
They
Okay.
said there was some crazy woman they didn't know, and we're just going to stay with hers.
Got it. Got
That
it.
was you.
Okay. Right, exactly. So, in those 3 options, obviously, people sort of think that there's gonna be some sort of savings involved if they just get the receptionist to voice the prompt, but as I'll indicate, that's probably not the way to go, and the cheap becomes expensive. So, to hire me to voice your telephone prompts, and hopefully your listeners are perhaps thinking about retooling their system, I am a recognizable branded voice already on existing platforms. I have a full-time dedication to IVR voicing. So I do other, voiceover stuff. I'll do TV and radio spots, but pretty much IVR is my core competency. It's what I do all day, every day. With that comes a huge amount of reliability. I am available pretty much all the time to do updates and changes. I offer fast turnaround, usually the same day, which is not too shabby. And of course, every company will need redos and updates. It's just sort of a fact of life. Oops. I have a private dedicated sound studio with no additional studio charges, which is a pretty awesome thing. Um, my rates are competitive in the voiceover industry and versatility. So I offer a certain amount of versatility. So my background is actually in acting. And so I'm finding that a lot of people with their phone systems are interested in developing a personality on their system. They want like an actual persona. So with this acting background that I have, I'm able to take a phone system in numerous different directions. So what you want to avoid is what I was talking about with that cable company with a bunch of different voices on the system. That ends up sounding like a little bit like a mess. So make sure that you have one consistent voice on your system. And if you have a huge implementation, and hopefully you're talking to Michael about getting some government contracts and doing like big IVR systems, I am used to voicing gigantic multi-outlet IVRs and very, very accustomed to large, large bodies of work.
Question.
Yes.
Why female versus male voice?
That's a great question, Michael. So, I'm sure it's being studied by, psychologists and people that sort of study the effect of the brain, various different sounds. I think female voices have always been preferred just because that female voice is pretty much the first voice you hear in utero, but also it sort of harkens back to the days of telephone operators, which were mostly female. So I just think that there's a lot of men that do IVR, but it's not as prevalent as it is in the female choice of voice. So I'm always really glad, of course, that there's a little bit of sexism towards using female voices. I think they're just more reassuring, more maternal, more, I'll get you to where you want to go. It's just sort of, I'll take care of things. I don't know. Does that
Hmm.
answer your question? I hope so.
Well, another one pops up is what other voices can you do just besides IVR? Now, I'm going to bring this up because I want to see you blush because the lighting is perfect where you are. Uh, didn't you do some gag recordings for a company which we can't repeat because we're in?
Right. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Usually, if people send me a script and they say, I want you to try it like this, I'm usually more than willing and game to give it a bunch of different types of personalities. I did one a few years ago for a publishing company who specialized in publishing mystery novels, and they wrote their script and they wanted me to deliver it almost like it was a dark and stormy night and he pressed one for new submissions. Like it was all like it was a mystery novel. I love stuff like that.
I want one.
So, yeah. Are you still there, Mike?
Yep, I want one like that.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yes.
It was a
Yeah, a
hot
lot of
and
people
sweaty day in Florida.
hot and sweaty.
If you want to
Exactly.
cool off, press one.
Actually, somebody did write for a cold beer, press 9. And I think probably everybody who listened to the system pressed 9. Anyhow, so the whole idea is that people, as I said, spend a lot of time developing their brand with regards to social media, their website, even printed materials and trade show graphics. It's really, really important to include your phone system in that branding message. Just kind of makes sense. So, how to order prompts for your company is really super easy. So, you would just go to my website, which is the ivrvoice.com. You click order online, and you literally cut and paste your script into there, and it calculates a word count. There is a chat bot, which is me answering directly, although I recently disabled it for there was a lot of strange questions coming in, so I got rid of that. Um,
Care to share?
Prompts are what's that?
Care to
Yeah, I won't go
share?
into I will not go into specifics, but yes, I think it
Okay,
was
I've
better
been there,
to
done
shut
that,
that
and
thing down. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
anyway. I digress.
It's a lot of work. Yeah. Yeah. So after I record the prompts, they are uploaded onto a secure FTP server, and you can invite numerous others in the team to access the prompts. Um, I also sort of approach it with a managed services approach. So, your customer can direct bill me, whatever works better. I also do prepaid retainers, which a lot of my customers like. So they just give me a lump sum of money, and I just work off that retainer. On-demand implementation from multiple agents, so you can have a bunch of different people contributing to the project, and I can respond to their requests. And you can also package my services in with yours as sort of a white label feature. There's virtually no industry that I haven't voiced for, including, industrial sector, automotive, medical. I do a lot in the medical space, the medical dental space. So, regardless of which industry you work in, you will need a comprehensive IVR, and I've done it all. So, about that idea that perhaps you're saving money by having a staffer do it, the cost of an amateur sounding IVR is significant and it can be damaging to your brand. What may seem like an economical workaround will end up costing you a lot in the end, especially if you get a bunch of different staff voices on there and it's just sort of eroding your credibility as a company. Um, my full service means that I can guide you through the construction, writing, and execution and maintenance of the prompts. And maintenance is a big thing. As soon as somebody leaves the company, usually the menu of the associates and their extensions has to be updated. So the IVR is not a one and done. It is an ever changing sort of fluid thing. And sort of in summary, obviously hiring a professional voice is an often overlooked added feature to bring to the table, but there are tangible cost saving benefits in enlisting someone like myself with my skill set to not only voice the prompts, but evaluate the current system, recommend wording, and that sort of thing. So that is pretty much the end of the little slideshow. There's my contact info. And any questions that viewers may have, I would be happy to answer those.
Well, it's as usual. We don't get uh, a lot of questions during the live, but what we end up with is questions afterwards or direct emails or whatever. And I want to make
Absolutely.
sure before I forget, and I forgot to do this, and I apologize. I forgot
Mhm.
one scene. This one.
Oh, there we go.
When you said contact,
Excellent.
I'm thinking, okay, Houston, we got a problem. So there we are
Right.
there. So
So,
let's
Michael,
go
let me ask
into
you
Q
this.
and A.
Yeah,
Let's go to Q and A and see if anybody shows up.
sure. I mean, I could even ask you,
That might be
Michael,
asking too much.
are there any pet peeves you have about telephone systems that you've encountered?
Yeah, every time I push zero, that's not a valid option. That's not a valid option, and I just say enough.
It just happened this morning. I was calling an eye clinic to set up an appointment, and I just went straight to zero, and it started the menu all over again.
Hmm.
So four was actually their option to get to a live operator. They even fooled me. So sometimes you can get into trouble just by pressing zero automatically.
Here's a true story. My
Mhm.
dermatologist, which absolutely love them, they're like family, and the good news is they're all female. And every Thursday they go to this one bar, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to say what it is because then they'll know where they are. That one bar, and they actually said, "Why don't you join us one Thursday?" I said, "Well, set my next appointment Thursday late, so when you close, we all just
Oh,
slide down the street."
sweet. Yep.
Then the last time I was there, they said, "We got in trouble last week." I said, "Why? Because I was there?" No, I wasn't there, but it was because I wasn't there. And they said, "No, there was a bunch of old people in there complaining that we were making too much noise at the bar."
Oh, no. That's crazy.
But
So
the
crazy.
point of the point of the long drawn out conversation was that they changed their IVR because it used to be, if you want to make an appointment, press one. If you're a physician, press
Yeah.
two. Very, very well done. And if you
Mhm.
need to reach the operator, press zero. They changed it to
Absolutely.
eight.
Yeah.
Now
You
it's
know,
eight.
I actually did a system for a dermatology clinic, and they took it even farther. The tone of their prompts was, "We're glad you called, and you deserve to have a little bit of a refresh." That was kind of the sense of the messaging was, "You've done the right thing by doing this, and you need a break, and let's get you." Uh, let's treat you to some sort of procedure that you're wanting. So I like that when they address the needs of the caller and they acknowledge that people are calling for a specific reason.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So outside of IVR, and that's looking at the client list, which this is the first time I actually paid attention to it. And of course, your first one was Sangoma and Asterisk and Digium and everybody else. That's
Yeah.
all Sangoma now.
I know. I
And
know.
they were a client for a couple of years. I helped them get into the government. And then, of course, we know what happened with a lot of the upper management. They moved off to another company. And
Yep.
I think I'll probably have either Tony or Preston sitting in your chair one day,
Yep. You
and
never
go on
know.
from there. Because tell me what happened this past August 2nd, if you remember.
This past August 2nd. Hmm.
The day POTS
Huh.
lines died.
Oh gosh.
All
Yeah.
everybody got all their POTS lines cut. So they said,
Yeah.
"Well, no, it didn't. I'm on Comcast telephone. That's not POTS. That's
Right.
VoIP. We're
Exactly.
on VoIP right now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't care who, whether it's Frontier, who we have, we're running gig fiber. Uh, you have Frontier, Comcast. Pick any of the cable companies. If there's a yellow jack in the back of that modem, that's what's called an analog terminal adapter, which lets you plug your regular phone in. You think you
For
have a
sure.
landline, but what you're
Yes.
really doing is you're on voice over IP.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of that transition happened without people even really knowing what gear they're running or what the system is.
I did
So,
a
yeah.
I did a webinar on that back, I think July, because August 2nd was the day that they're finally killing all the copper.
Yeah. Oh,
Now
yeah.
it's either
Absolutely.
coax or fiber.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So I had, a landline, and then I phased that out and got a VoIP phone. Actually, it was Tony who set me up with a Sangoma phone, and then I just sort of phased that out because people literally do not call anymore. It's all done by email. So it's cell phone, and now I have a beautiful rotary dial phone on my desk, and it's sort of like a full
where'd you
circle
get it?
thing.
I want one. I when I sold my parents' home after they passed on,
Yeah.
I forgot to pick up the original AT&T black rotary phone because I
Oh
couldn't
no.
wait to be able to take that up to a millennial and say, dial my number.
Exactly.
We could spend all day
Yes.
on that one.
I have a whole collection of rotary phones, and when my stepdaughter was a kid, she stared at one of them for a long time, and she said, "Okay, so how did this work? Did you put your finger in there and you take it all the way around to the end and then let it go?" And I was like, "Oh, sweetie." Yeah, no, she had no idea. No
But
idea at
she's an
all.
expert at it now because
She is.
mom taught her.
Exactly, exactly.
Incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Let me move you back over where you belong. I don't know
Okay,
why it keeps moving around, but there you are. And I'm gonna
there
zoom in
I
a little
am,
bit.
dead center.
There we are. I
Michael,
love
this
this
was so
remote.
much fun.
I
We didn't
love
take
this
up all
remote
the
stuff.
time, but
I mean, I
I
wish
do
we could do
too.
it all day long. I mean, hell, we've been in it. We've been at it now for 37 minutes, and I'm not going to edit it. I'm putting it up with the mistakes. And if nobody likes it,
Oh gosh. Okay.
write a comment when you watch the video. I liked it. I didn't like it. You should stop. You should go home. You should retire.
Yeah.
I tried that. It
Yeah.
didn't work. Uh,
Exactly. Exactly.
what am I going to, how much golf can I play? I'm 71 years old,
You'd be surprised. You'd be
and
surprised.
I've been doing GSA and VA longer than anybody. And
Yeah.
that's all I've ever concentrated on was, helping I mean, Berkshire Hathaway, their roofing division, Johns Manville. I mean, they flew me first class, I might add, out to
Nice.
Denver multiple
Yeah.
times because they wanted to make sure I was fresh and revived when I got there.
Sweet.
Yep.
That is awesome.
So that is pretty much what we've got. I'm not seeing anything over here in the comment section other than what I put in
Okay.
there because I knew that was important that we did that. Oh, I'm sorry, I need to say that correctly. Important rather than just important like we grew up with. Important. So you got to pronounce every single letter, and
Yeah.
it it's frustrating, but that's beside the point. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. And ladies and gentlemen, please, and let me give you one more time the contact info for Allison. Give her a call. It won't cost you anything anymore because everything's what people don't understand, which is kind of, I forgot about. Remember MCI?
Oh
MCI
yeah.
World, when you're paying 25 cents a minute for long distance?
That's crazy.
Does anybody know when you push that button how that call was completed? You do. They were
Hmm.
using the internet back during MCI days. Everybody,
Right.
everything was going across the internet. And I'm paying 25 cents a minute just to get the weather report.
It's robbery.
Yes, it was. So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, there is her contact info and ivrvoice.com, theivrvoice.com.
Yes.
Go check it out. I checked it out, and as a amateur web developer, yeah, that's me. I was impressed. I know how you did it too, so uh, But as be that as it
I
may,
didn't do a thing.
no, you're supposed to say I didn't do it.
I've got a guy.
Yeah, I got a guy that knows a guy. Yeah, I understand that one. So I'm gonna get us out of here, and we're gonna go out early. And ladies and gentlemen, please give her a call. She can do all kinds of crazy stuff because we're in a PG environment. She couldn't tell you about those cool recordings. Maybe she'll give you a copy. Something about if you don't like the weather, that's as far as I'm going.
Right.
That's my favorite.
Awesome.
Thank you all for being here. Allison, thank you so much.
Thank you
And
so much, Michael. It was great fun.
we'll talk after I shut all this down and talk with you very soon.